What's up guys, it's Keegan with the Kentucky Welding Institute. We are here in Tulsa today at Sawyer Manufacturing. I'm here with Davey and he's going to give us a little bit of an intro about what Sawyer is about and the things that they have coming up in the future and also for our welding competition. So Davey, tell us a little bit about yourself and Sawyer Manufacturing.
Awesome, cool. So Davey Nielsen is my name. I've been with Sawyer Manufacturing for 9 years almost. Our tagline, if you will, is Sawyer Manufacturing. Manufacturers of pipeline equipment since 1948. So Kentucky Welding Institute knows us for our pipeline equipment, beveling machines, bands, crawlers, clamping systems, things like that. But what we're going to see today as we maneuver around the facility is that Sawyer is much more than just pipeline equipment. We have a whole fabrication division. We take care of companies like Google. We take care of companies like Virgin. We've taken care of companies like SpaceX. Mm-hmm. We do a lot in the oil and gas industry. That's our bread and butter. Pipelines are bread and butter, but we're much more than that. So I'm excited to have you guys here. We're proud sponsors of Kentucky Welding Institute. We've sent you guys some stuff to give away at your welding competition, and we absolutely love and appreciate everything you guys do to support us, and hopefully you guys feel the same way. So we'll go on a tour. We'll look around. I'll show you guys everything that I can, and if you get any questions, just let me know.
All right, let's get to it.
Cool. So this is Bay 5. We built this in 2018, I believe, is when we started it. As you can see, it's a lot more than pipeline equipment, right?
Well, we're actually fabricating.
We're actually fabricating. We've built massive vessels in here, skids, platforms, all kinds of stuff. We've built projects that take up almost the entire length of the bay. So that's always cool for me to come out here and watch some of that stuff getting done and to see just how much Sawyer actually impacts the oil and gas industry outside of just the pipeline equipment that I sell and I take care of.
Right.
We've got 10, 20, 40, 60, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 64 tons of crane capability. So you can imagine how thick this concrete pad is.
Right.
We needed somewhere to really be able to handle those big projects.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty cool that we're able to do this kind of stuff. And and I'll hopefully introduce you to him if we see him. John Morlock is our operations manager.
Okay.
And that guy, he doesn't know how to say no, right?
To a project?
Yes. He is 100% convinced that we can do it.
Right.
And he's always right?
Yeah.
One of the things that we kind of say on our website is fearless fabrication.
Okay.
And that's a testament to John and his vision and the people that he brings into the team to help turn those visions into reality.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
And you know, it's super cool, you guys, like you mentioned, you're not just building pipeline or pipe welding equipment, you're actually contributing to the industry by building things that go into it.
Yeah. So, you know, like I said earlier, the products that I'm responsible for, the reason that Davey Nielsen has been hired at Sawyer Manufacturing is to sell our pipeline equipment, right? So I'm kind of out with the fabrication division, but not a lot of people know just that we do all this.
Right.
Not even just this. I mean, our beveling machines, our clamping systems, bands, crawlers, all that stuff, that's all great. But we even manufacture the linings, the bending sets that go inside pipe bending equipment.
Okay.
You know, so your big companies like Darby and DMI, you know, CRC Evans, that are out there on the right-of-ways bending the pipe.
Yeah.
We actually provide them with equipment to help them do that. So there's hardly a job, especially in the US, there's hardly a job, a pipeline job, where Sawyer Manufacturing isn't involved in it in some way.
Right.
You know? We have our own burn tables over here. So, you know, this is just more testimony to how we do it right here in Tulsa. You know, there's not very much that we have to outsource to get our equipment made. So everything here, from our pipe hooks to our tensile testing equipment. I think you guys have got one of our tensile testers.
Yes, sir.
You know, we do all the burnouts here ourselves. Really, the only things that we have to outsource is powder coating and heat treatment.
Okay.
We even have our own paint and blasting booth over outside in a different area as well. So we do it all, man. We do it all. So when these are finished, obviously you can see right there, it can sit inside a pipe stand.
Yep.
Take the V-head off of a pipe stand and sit it in. But when these are finished, they've got very strong magnets that sit on them that rotate to the circumference of the pipe.
Yep.
So you can sit that on fairly comfortably, anything from 6-inch up to 60-inch pipe, no problem. Yep.
And then you just put your grinders on there and whatever else you
Rheostat
need.
box, 2 grinders.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
But they're pretty cool when they're finished.
Now, what color do you paint those?
Black. Black
Gotcha.
with yellow
that
stickers.
looks
Yep. So here's a good example of some of our larger bands that we make. 72.
All right.
So 72-inch band, and believe it or not, it's actually a lot more popular than you would think, right? We sell quite a few of those.
Really?
Yep, especially to like water plants, water treatment plants and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But the largest one we sold, what was that? We shipped the other day, 125 point.
127, I think.
127 inch.
Okay.
Up to Canada somewhere.
And so these guys are plasma or torch on these too?
Torch.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Either one.
Yeah.
What's preferred? What do you guys see that's being used the most?
Acetylene is still the most popular as
Gotcha.
far as pipeline's concerned, but you know, plasma is much more efficient, much cleaner, faster.
Right.
But out in the right of way, you're still
Torch is
using
just
torch.
easier, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just 2 bottles and a
Cheaper.
hose. Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
This is Ryan. Ryan does a lot of our assembly and a lot of our repairs.
Okay.
So whenever stuff gets sent in for repair, Ryan will evaluate it.
Okay.
Then once we get the approval to repair it, he'll get it all fixed up and sent back out.
What's the wildest thing you've ever had get sent back? Like, what's something just crazy, like never expected, like?
We've had some transmissions come back with their own motors built into them or like built on.
Like custom?
Yeah, custom built motors and stuff like that.
Windshield wiper motors?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So can they send that back even though it's custom?
They can send it in. Most of the time, I won't touch it. You know what I mean? If it's custom or something like that, because I know I ain't gonna have the parts to replace anything
Right.
like that. So I'll give them an evaluation on it
Okay.
and tell them kind of what's wrong with it, and then I'll let them make the decision.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And everything that's sent back obviously has to be Sawyer.
No, I mean we can repair a competitor's brand.
Okay.
It's actually kind of funny. So one of our competitors makes a crawler, and they send it. Customers will buy it. It'll break down, and they'll send it to us for repair, and we repair it with all Sawyer parts.
Okay.
So they actually get a better crawler back than the one they originally bought.
Interesting. Wow.
You know. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you guys figure out who that competitor is by yourself, right?
Awesome.
But that's just one of the things we always joke about, you know.
Right.
So you could have saved some money by buying a Sawyer one in the first place, right?
So Sawyer started in
1948.
1948. Now, were they creating these products right at 1948?
Yeah, some of them. I mean, not
Okay.
all of them. We've added a lot, even in the 9 years that I've been, we've added some products. But
Okay.
our core products, you know, beveling equipment,
Okay.
clamping systems, yeah, we've been doing that, you know, the entire time. Sawyer's been a major player globally in the pipeline industry for
Right.
a long, long time.
Here we got transmission. Here's the body. When we build these, it's already kind of halfway built. Anyways, I'll leave it halfway built.
You're good.
We add the bearings. It takes 2 main bearings right there. They got to be flush, or your stuff ain't gonna, your flange legs ain't gonna roll right. If it's a little bit cockeyed or something like that, it's gonna be rubbing on one side. But yeah, it takes 2 bearings right there. Behind this, we got a main bearing that goes right there. Or no, it's back here. Sorry. It's back there. But let's see. But the crawler, we use this. This is one of our main selling systems right here. The crawler, and then the bands. You gotta have pretty much one with the other, you know. So it makes it pretty nice on our sales part. All right. This for a whip. We got 2 different styles. We got one that goes to a whip, and then we got a motor that hooks up to the motor. They're a little bit different, but pretty much the same. Here's your worm gear shaft assembly. It's a sealed one piece besides right here. We got the roller bushing back here, and this is crimped on there. We just switched over, about 2 years ago to this. It's a lot better for us because we don't have to sit here and drill everything out. Here's the old ones right here. We pretty much made everything on this.
Okay.
The bar, we started out with the bar and then we go the gears, but we drill that out and then drill that out. So this little thing makes it hell of a lot easier.
Everything
for sure.
in-house, too.
Yeah, we send this out. Where do we send it to? Don't get me lying.
I can't remember.
But yeah, we send them the parts and everything. They press it on there and stuff like that. You got your main bearing on the back of here. It's just a little bearing on the back. But yeah, that bearing that rides in there, it'll seat in there, feels smooth, turns smooth, you know what I mean? And then you get your flex shafts. We always wanted to add grease on the back of them because they're riding up against that bearing. We don't want nothing not to have lube on it.
Right.
But the transmissions are pretty damn basic. There ain't nothing to them really, you know what I mean?
Right.
You got your flat spot, you gotta stick that up against your bearing, and it's got the other side right there. Make sure it turns good. Then you got your flange legs. These are your ball legs right here. Here's your flange legs. Ball legs, it allows it to kind of move around a little bit, give it a little bit where it won't bind up or nothing like that on you. Let's see. And the flange legs takes the bearing too.
Right.
So, and the ball leg don't get one. All right. Yeah, we make all this in-house. All the ball legs and stuff. We get the casting in and then we machine it. This end right here for our bearings, make sure they're good and snug where you ain't got, they sit there and won't push out or nothing like that.
So you can see now as he's put it on there why it's called a crawler, right? So you've got the other two legs that look the exact same and it sits on the band and crawls around the pipe. Yep.
Yeah.
And like he said, this is probably our best selling piece of small equipment.
Okay.
I mentioned to you earlier, you know, when people think band and crawler, they think Sawyer. It's kind of one word. I need a Sawyer band. I need a Sawyer crawler.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna set
And it's
some-
especially effective on large diameter pipe. Don't get me wrong, people use them on 6-inch. We actually just sold a 4-inch custom band
Really?
the other day with some custom standoffs on it.
Yeah.
So imagine that thing right there, as big as it is, crawling around a 4-inch piece of pipe, you know. But whenever you get to the large diameter, that's when they're really beneficial, especially the motorized version.
Right.
Yeah, the motorized is the way to go for
Yeah.
sure. You're gonna wear yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? On,
If you're standing there hand cranking on a 114-inch band, that's going to take a minute.
So what's the benefit of having that on like a 4-inch?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, to me, I would rather use a beveling machine on that smaller pipe. It might be that it's spec'd into a job that's the only form of cutting you can do. Anytime we've sold those 4 inches, it's always been overseas. And sometimes the overseas jobs can be a little bit more strict on what kind of equipment gets used.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, to me, maybe it's a clearance issue, right? If you're in a real tight space, putting a bevel machine might not always make the most sense. So a crawler, being a lot more low
That's what I was
profile,
thinking.
can zip around.
Right.
So there's a couple of reasons why, but as far as ease of use is concerned, I think a saddle machine is a better option, but this certainly can do the job.
I think the quick set's a better option, to tell you the truth, than saddle. I don't know. The quick set is more repairable than the saddle machine. You know what I mean? I can pretty much do anything on the quick set, but on the saddle you can't do. Where's it at? Right here. Everything's replaceable on these. This is what I like about the quick set. You know what I mean? Because you can send that dude in, ring messed up or something like that. We'll put a new ring on it, indicate it, make sure it's good. The arms might be tweaked or something like that. We replace the arms, the gearbox, pretty much everything on the unit.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the saddle machine, it's pretty much a machined unit. So there's no adjustments on them. There's pretty much nothing. You slap it together and that's your unit. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of like these quick set and the compact a little bit better, because I can control like the tightness and the indication and everything else on it, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's why I kind of like, I push towards these more than the saddle machine, because it's a better unit.
Gotcha.
One of the things that the good features about these quick set machines, and the reason it's called a quick set, because it doesn't have any dogs.
Right.
So whenever you're moving from one size of pipe to the other, you just loosen these bolts and adjust these arms. So if you're switching from 6-inch to 4-inch, all you do is make a minor adjustment, put it back on the pipe. So that's why it's called quick set, right?
Wow.
So it's a good unit. It's probably used more in pipe fabrication than it is out in the right of way.
Yeah.
It's die cast aluminum, so it's more lightweight, which of course means it can get dinged up a little bit easier.
Right.
But it's a very, very good unit. That's actually the new version of that old piece that he just showed you from the 50s.
Yeah,
so.
it's a little bit condensed
Yep.
compared to what it was.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a good machine.
Yeah, we got the compact. It's a little bit better machine. It's pretty much steel, all steel, besides the casting on it. But other than that, man, the compact, if you want something that's gonna last for fucking years and years,
Yep.
that's the way to go for sure, because you ain't gotta worry about the ring getting really bent or nothing like that, because it's steel, you know what I mean? But these are second best, I think.
Yep. We make these in 4 different sizes: 1.5 to 4, 3 to 8, 8 to 14, 14 to 20.
Wow.
And then the saddle machine, we have 4 different sizes, but the compact machine is the one that we do in 10 different sizes, all the way up to 60-inch.
I think we got, well, there's 2 number 7s right there.
We don't have to finish putting that together.
Like I said, we might have to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. We don't need to finish putting that together, Ryan.
Good deal. Good deal, good deal.
But here's one, an old one, obviously, that's been sent in for repair. So obviously that's what it looks like once it's assembled.
Okay.
And then your whip or your motor will go in this side right here.
Gotcha,
so.
gotcha.
Uh,
So this is the piece that those people, random motors on the side.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Every now and then we'll get a weird windshield wiper motor in there, or some,
Yeah.
random welders built something
Keep it going.
to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yep. So yep.
Awesome.
Here's how our transmission bodies come to us.
Okay.
So you guys saw that one that had the holes in it
Yeah.
and everything. So that's how it comes, and then we do all of our own CNC machining here. One of the things I like to tell people is that we've got, some very, very advanced CNC machinery that we've just purchased in the last couple of years, and then over in different parts of the building we've got pieces of equipment that look like you just traveled back in time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
But they all do their jobs. They
Yes.
all still function.
Well, and kind of going back to what we were saying, some of the stuff that was built a long time ago is solid and was
Yeah.
built well, and you
Yeah.
don't need to change it.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
We've got some saddle machine rings that are just come out, so we're getting ready to do some assembly so that we have them on our shelf ready to
Yep.
go. That's another thing that kind of sets us apart from our customer. I'm going to take you guys over to our warehousing section eventually, but we do a very, very good job of keeping stuff in stock, trying to monitor what's going on in the industry, trying to monitor sizes of projects so we can know what the common size is going to be, So for our bands, if we know that there's 3 or 4 42-inch jobs that are going to go on, some in Texas, some in Pennsylvania, some in Ohio, we'll do a good job of stocking that stuff so that our customers can get it as quickly as possible.
You're right.
Our competitors, they might try to do that, but they're just not as efficient at it as us because we do everything here.
Gotcha.
So even if I sell the last bevel machine off of the shelf that's boxed and ready to go, we've got everything here where we can assemble them in a couple of days and get it restocked.
Well, and you guys aren't waiting on anybody either.
Right.
So
Right.
awesome.
And then we do little special projects. I believe this is John's, but that's what's cool about having a fabrication shop, right? We can do anything, man. So we
Right.
got, I think it's John's Go-Kart that
Drift cart. Yeah.
yeah, that he's in here working on, and
Right on.
it's just cool that we have that kind of capability.
Yeah. Sweet. Right on. Right on.
So like I said, relatively new, modern, updated CNC machinery. Stuff that looks ancient, you know.
Yes.
But it's all used. It's all part of the process here
Wow.
at Sawyer.
It's all needed.
Yep. That's some of our jack screws. I don't know if you're familiar with chain clamps.
Yes.
Or rim clamps for reforming pipe. So we get some of our jack screws
Okay.
ready to go.
All right.
Making some rings.
So this is the machine that makes them?
Yep.
So this machine was specifically built to make rings.
I don't know if it was specifically made to build rings, but it obviously can.
Right. Wow, that's awesome.
What are you doing, Lionel?
Machine it, be able to put the chain on there, compacts.
What size is that? Number 7? 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
That's awesome. What's the oldest part of this building?
So
Is
this building was built in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so Sawyer used to be in the north side of Tulsa, and we're there for years.
Okay.
But moved over here in 2013. So you know this building's relatively new.
Okay.
And then the Bay 5, the one at the back, was added on in 2018.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think 75 or 80,000 square feet total is what
Okay.
we have. Now, I'm going to tell a story here that I don't know if it's 100% accurate or not.
Okay.
I need to verify it, but I think I was told at some point that this is the first piece of equipment that Red Sawyer, the founder of Sawyer, purchased. I think.
Okay.
So this piece of equipment right here could be as old as 75 years old.
Wow.
We don't use it anymore. I personally think we should polish it up, shine it up, and have it sitting out in the front lobby.
I think it would look sweet.
You know what I mean?
So, the founder of Sawyer.
Yep.
Who was that?
Red Sawyer.
Okay.
Yep.
And what was his story? Did he buy this and then start using that to make?
I don't know exactly if he bought, or when he bought this. I think someone told me it was the first piece of equipment that he bought.
Okay.
But he started the company in 1948, and then his son Tom Sawyer came on board, and he's still the owner today. He
Okay.
retired several years ago, but obviously we have a lot of fun with his name, Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
But he still comes up to the office and goes out to lunch with our president and vice president on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
and he still, comes up and talks to everybody and
Sweet.
and says hi. So he's a phenomenal man.
Okay.
I believe he just turned 80, so he's been retired, well deserved
Wow, yeah.
for a while, but phenomenal man, phenomenal family.
Awesome. And what did this machine do specifically?
I think it was a press of
Okay.
some kind. I'm not sure. I need to find out more information on it because
Wow.
it's just cool to look at
Yeah.
as well.
Old school.
Yeah,
Used a bunch too.
yeah.
Man. Yeah, y'all should put that up front somewhere.
I know, I believe we should. So this is cool, right? Covered in weld dust, as you know. So whenever we take this out, we obviously clean it up. But we built this, designed it, built it, start to finish. And we've got an OSU one as well. So this is obviously the Oklahoma one. We've got an Oklahoma State one, which is a big giant pistol. But we got the grill built in there. We got TVs, speakers, and all that kind of stuff. So every now and then, when Sawyer wants to get involved in, some fairs or parades or whatnot, we've taken these out to advertise our full capabilities. So what's kind of funny is we built that Oklahoma State pistol grill, massive, just as big as this. And then a couple of our customers said, "No, I want one of those too."
Really?
And we ended up making more and selling them. So we do cookouts for the staff here and for all the shop guys once a month or once every couple of months. We'll throw hot dogs and burgers on it. Last month, John threw, I don't know how many pounds of bacon on it and eggs on it. The whole shop smelling amazing.
Awesome.
So we have a lot of fun with it.
Well, sweet. Yeah, that is a lot of fun. Wow. All right. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Like I said, we I had no idea what we was gonna walk into. This is a lot wilder than what we were thinking.
Yeah. Here we got some stuff ready to ship right here. So we got stuff going to Pecos, Texas, Monahans, Texas, New York.
Okay.
Where's this going? Australia, Amarillo, Texas. So all over, everywhere from Pecos, Texas to Australia.
Australia, okay.
Yep.
Outside of the U.S.
Yep.
Who is the biggest, who's your biggest purchase? Like what country?
The U.S. is
Okay.
probably our biggest, where we do most of it. As
Okay.
far as the rest of the world, we ship a lot to the Middle East.
Okay.
We ship a lot to the Netherlands.
Really?
Yep, got a couple of really good distributors in the Netherlands.
So they're doing a lot of pipeline work in the Middle East? Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep. What's
Wow.
up, Crystal?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good,
Good, how are you?
This is Crystal.
Hi, nice to meet
Crystal's our marketing manager.
Okay.
So kind of similar to what you do. She
Yeah,
takes
yeah.
care of all of our social media and our postings and all
Awesome.
the pictures and video content
Yep.
that we do as well.
Awesome.
So, I mentioned to you that we do a good job of keeping things in stock
Okay.
so that we can take care of our customers as quickly as possible. So as you can see, our bands range, there's some of those 6-inch bands
Right.
up there, some of the bigger ones, and then we keep stuff boxed and ready to go.
Okay.
Our mantra, if you will, is the pipeline industry usually discover they need something yesterday. You know?
Yes.
So we do a good job of trying to keep it in stock so that we can supply our customer with what they need as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Some of our small cage clamps. Have you guys used these cage clamps up in Kentucky?
A couple
KWI?
times, yes.
Yeah.
We were building our simulator, our pipeline simulator.
Yep.
We use the clamps.
Okay, cool. And there's
Gotcha.
where we keep some of our die plunger sets. So you guys will use our tensile testing equipment.
Yep.
That's all the tensile testers ready to ship.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there's some of our saddle machines, which you guys are obviously very familiar
Yes.
with. Boxed, again, not to repeat myself, but boxed, ready to go.
Gotcha.
So when people need one, whether that's you guys or if it's somebody who needs one out on a right-of-way, we're ready to get it going.
Awesome.
you know?
Now, what's your advice? One of the biggest issues we got with kids at KWI, one of the biggest issues we got with students at KWI is tightening that little tiny fastener for the barrel, and it always gets like just. What do you recommend? Do you recommend using a tool to tighten it? Because sometimes
on the torque shoulder.
yeah, it's just like we just always have an issue. It's like sometimes it doesn't get tight, so then students want to grab a big wrench and just crank
Right.
down on it, and then it's like, what do you guys recommend for that?
I mean, everything should be manageable by hand.
Right?
So is the torch slipping? Is the torch
Yeah,
slipping
like
in
it'll
and out?
move, and then they'll have to like just really crank in on it, and sometimes they'll grab a tool and just mess that thing up.
In fact, I think I remember talking to Ashley
Yeah.
about that. Man, our torch holders are built for standard Victor torches, MT210s,
Right.
which is 1 3/8 inch barrel.
Okay.
So they should be fitting in there very, very comfortably.
So you shouldn't need any tools
You shouldn't
to
need
tighten
any
anything.
tools,
Okay.
no, because it's all wing nut.
Right,
Right.
correct.
So I mean, it's all wing nut, so it should be done with a finger and a thumb.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, if it's a big issue,
Right.
send me a video
Okay.
of it and say, hey, this is what's happening, and we'll look at it.
Well, and I think what the thing is like it's built for just finger use, but
Yep.
then someone gets the idea that they use a tool and,
And they
use
strip it.
and they strip it,
Yeah.
or they get it to where it gets so tight, and then you can't get it to where it needs to
Yep.
be unless you use a tool. So I think just making sure
Well,
they.
we tell everybody, you know, on almost all of our equipment, you don't want to be so tight that it's unmovable again.
Right.
You want everything just to be nice and snug. Our crawlers, our torch holders, bevel machines, just get it nice and snug to where things are just in
Snug
there.
by hand.
Because you can be too tight.
Right.
You know, so it might be that somebody
And I
stripped it.
think that's the issue that we're having.
But yeah, I mean, there shouldn't be an issue because it's all wing nut,
Right.
and it should be manageable by hand.
Gotcha. All right. Good to know.
Here's some of our equipment stands. So they're obviously not finished in production. So I've got several distributors all throughout the country that will keep these in their lobby or in their showroom.
Okay.
So these will come with branches. I think you might have seen the one
Yes.
out in the lobby,
Uh-huh.
and we can showcase some of our equipment on it.
Okay.
It's also good for storage as well. So if you guys have got, 6 or 7 different sizes of bevel machines and storage becomes an issue,
Uh-huh.
one of these, and then you just go you take it off the branch. When you finish using it, you put it back on the branch.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and,
So that's great for shops, facilities,
yep.
anything. Okay.
Yep, just for storing your units. That way everybody knows where to get it, where to put it back.
And you can move
You
it
know?
around easily too with the
Yep,
wheels.
you can move it easily.
That is a great idea.
One of the things that I've found, especially from talking to pipeliners, is that the most damage gets done not when they're using it, but when they're transporting it from place to place. If you don't have a common place to store your equipment, you can throw it and then not realize it's there, throw stuff on top of
It's
it,
bent, yeah.
and everything gets messed up. So we always try and tell people, hey, not only is this good for showing our equipment, it's also good for storing it as well, keeping it all safe.
So what do you recommend for pipeline welders that carry their own crawlers and?
Well, these guys are amazing at building their own rigs,
Okay.
right? And the really nice rigs usually have storage compartments built in, so that they can store their expensive
Right.
equipment, store their equipment that needs a little bit of extra protection.
Yep.
If you don't have that capability with your rig, then obviously a good storage container, a good storage box.
Gotcha.
We supply them, or you can buy, a Pelican case that just is a good size
Right.
to fit your machine. But I've seen a lot of guys as well that have bevel machines in their back seats,
Yeah.
bevel machines in the back of their trucks,
Right.
and that's fine. But if you throw something else on top of it that's got a little weight to it, you're risking the damage. So we always recommend keeping them stored properly.
Okay.
So this is some of our bending sets. So that's we call that a tractor bending shoe.
Okay.
So what customers will do is they'll buy the mounting brackets, and then they'll mount them onto the side of a side boom, and then that bending set right there we do from 4-inch up to 12-inch in this particular product,
Okay.
and then the guys will, bend the pipe appropriately to fit the curvature of whatever it is they're working on.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that pipeline will just slip in there,
Okay.
and then they'll wrap it with a sling and use, heavy equipment to pull it and bend
way.
it appropriately.
I had no idea how they put bends in the pipe. Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the ways to do it. There's several ways,
Right.
but that's one of the ways.
Gee whiz.
Yep.
And you all got a lot going on.
Yes, we do. So obviously it'll be far too loud to go
Right.
over there, but that's our paint booth over there.
Yep.
So we do all our own painting and blasting as well. It's kind of cool to go in there and watch some of the big giant pieces of equipment hanging from the ceiling getting painted. It's just cool. It's just stuff that I think all of us can easily take for granted.
Right.
That stuff has to be built to provide us with the energy we need to live our daily lives.
Right.
I think, like I told you earlier, I came from the soft drink industry, so I was one of those guys that just put gas in my car. I just turned the heat on at home. I turned the fire on at home. Turned the stove on at home. Didn't think anything
Didn't
about
think
it.
about it, right.
That's just supposed to be there.
Right.
And now you come and work for a company like Sawyer Manufacturing, or you're involved in the welding procedures and the oil and gas industry, and it makes you really appreciate everything that goes into
Right.
providing us with that kind of comfort.
Exactly. Well, and the individuals that are right there at the epicenter of it.
Yeah.
Like we would go weld in power plants, and they'd have to shut the power plant down for us to make the welds on the tubes that carried the water that turned into steam.
Yep.
So, and obviously they had to bank off of other plants for the power, but
Yep.
that right there is the epicenter of creating power
Yep.
for the grid and everything.
I know.
The same thing with
and
pipeline.
One of the things I love about it is the blue collar aspect of it. The backbone of the United States of America is blue collar men and women that go out there and get their hands dirty, and their back is sore, and their clothes are stained, and they go home working their fingers to death so that we can have those comforts. So often we think the most important people in the world are the guys in suits and ties and the CEOs, and they are, right? Because they create and provide a lot of jobs for people.
Right.
But man, we couldn't do it without the blue collar folk. We
Right.
couldn't do it without the welders, without the plumbers, without the bricklayers. Man, those are the true heroes, unsung heroes.
Right.
And I think at Sawyer Manufacturing we do a good job of remembering that and recognizing
Right.
that. We couldn't do it without them, that's for
Exactly.
sure. So here we store some of our larger clamps. Obviously these take up more space, so finding space on the inside is a little bit more difficult. So some of these larger clamps, all we have to do once they're built is people buy them, we just take them back inside or take them over to our paint,
Okay.
and touch them up. So they can get a little bit exposed to the elements
Right.
being out here, but we never send them out like this. We always touch them
Wow.
up and get them ready.
Gotcha. Okay. And these usually you want to handle with like a rig or a boom or
forklift
something.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're heavy. They're very heavy indeed.
Wow. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yep.
And this just gets the pipe lined up and everything.
Yep.
For them
Just
to
line up
freaking-
clamps, ratchet, cage clamps.
Sweet.
Hydraulic. Some of the bigger ones over there are hydraulic.
Okay. Wow.
That's it in a nutshell, man.
Okay.
That's our place.
That is awesome.
Again, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also that like button as well. And if you want to stay up to date on our notifications, go ahead and click the bell button because we upload videos every week that are very helpful for welders in the welding industry.